Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. 6:03 a.m. Live streaming to the world. I got my headphones on because I don't know. I like getting up early and kind of watching, a movie or being encapsulated in a world. Just you know, it helps me get into them to what I'm experiencing more. Um, that's something that we can start off of. How sort of darkness or negative space, kind of the emptiness before an action, creates the opposite. It creates the fulfillment, the light. It creates the yin and yang aspect of everything. If you're familiar with, I think it's pronounced the Tao Te Ching or the Tao Te Ching or something. I'm white. Come on. um, but kind of any sort of meaning or creation stems from the middle of that, the emptiness of emptiness and nothingness into somethingness. With that kind of being said and painting the landscape for this talk, that's exactly what you have to come to when you're trying to achieve something. You have to have this sort of you have to have this sort of passion that is beyond your own capability. Sorry, I thought someone was outside my door. But you have to have this passion that is kind of outside your capability, outside your perception, your current perception, because there's a limitless sort of potential that exists. And I feel as if this limitless energy that everyone has access to, if they can kind of properly use it and awaken to it. But in most cases, for my life, I sort of became, I sort of slowly became more aware of what I was doing. Like, I was growing up, I played a lot of video games. I was pretty good at them. I still love watching them. I don't play anymore, but. And slowly it became something it wasn't. Slowly I just felt like I was in this box of expression. And over time it became a prison. I think most people stay within that prison. They stay within the momentum of the prison they're born into. Kind of got distracted there, but that's okay. There's a lot to think about. But you have to go after it. If you do have the pleasure of kind of waking or awakening to the reality at play, and you become sort of conscious of what is truly happening, it's a very dangerous thing to those who defend their right to conformity. Sort of pet peeve of mine lately is a lot of hypocritical behavior in conversation and contradictions that just flood the average interaction nowadays. I'll talk about something to someone. I do have a person in mind, but I've had this happen a few times. But you'll be talking about something, trying to get a point across, someone who is objectively not fully conscious of themselves. And time will pass, and you'll really feel as if what you said meant something to them, but they sort of use it as a sort of like a stepping stool to just throw you under the bus, because it's a lot easier to point and laugh and stare at those who attempt anything, and it's a lot easier and a lot more comfortable to just stand in line with everyone else and to point and laugh, point and stare. But I realize that the contents of culture and society, or you know is that what I just explained, the people who attempt, and the contents of what people talk about are the attempts of anything novel, anything new. What's weird is what I've noticed, and maybe my generation of Gen Z and the generation after me, even before me to an extent, there's a notion of people being afraid to try, and kind of segregating those who try. Like, it's not cool to try, it's not cool to give a fuck. Like, something random. I watch competitive gaming. I think they're better than sports. If you want to watch something like a real fucking sport, esport, Rocket League. Rocket League is, I mean, fucking car soccer. But it's just, I don't know, like peak Rocket League. I try to do that, but I lied. But peak gaming like that, peak sports, there becomes a sort of art form. But what I've noticed amongst those communities is that there's a lot of observers, excuse me, and even participants who like rather defend their social status than compete, or have some integrity of competing. And those who kind of try to win at all costs, for them, for their play, and who the people who don't really consider, the other teams, the other players, where it's there's integrity within themselves to make the play to win at all cost. And that's really entertaining. It's so entertaining. In my opinion, that's why esports are a little more entertaining than traditional sports, is because money has sort of became the fuel for sports. And esports still has that integrity thing where, like, there's some passionate fucking people out there who are just gonna fucking win every time. And it's because they go after it. They create something, and there's no thought behind. No, there's no second thought behind their actions. It becomes a more of a flow of everything, kind of suffocating. The people who are trying to compete, but you have to shed your identity of what you know yourself to be, what you don't know, but what you think yourself to be. And that, in my opinion, is a lot easier online than it is in person at times. So, sports and esports are very different in that aspect, but I like people who go after it. And I think majority of people nowadays are not going after it in the public world, or they're unwilling to talk about it or express themselves about it, because expressing themselves requires surrender to what you think yourself to be. And in this world, in this current trajectory, you have technology that is basically filling the void of everything. You don't want to do this, you don't want to take the time to learn something. Here's a summary of AI. Here's a Google search. Here's people doing it and you not doing it. It creates this sort of fear that we're incapable of doing things ourselves. And if we never sort of attempt anything, then there's nothing to really fear except fear itself. Peace out.